And that's why we started having family meetings, is because we needed to know how everybody stood on everything at all times, because it matters what's going on with the kids.
And our youngest had a hard deal. She went from an only child to the youngest of 4.
And then after the breakup, it was mom X is no longer mom. So you gotta, it's stuff to think about. Like I said, this year we're gonna get real, and this is some real shit.
And still, Mom X is not mom to her, but still is to 3 others.
Right.
So it can get hard.
Yeah.
It can get very difficult. So it's one of those things. But honestly, all divorces hurt.
Oh yeah.
This is not hurting any worse than a monogamous breakup. Right. It just has more layers.
Yeah, a lot more layers.
Because you still, I mean, in a monogamous breakup, you have the same thing. Like I've met people who have 5 stepmoms.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of them he called mom, and some of them he didn't.
So in a polycule, there's a lot of layers that go into it that you have to think about when it comes to breaking up, when it comes to just dealing with it. Radical transparency, start your relationship with radical transparency. Don't go in it later on like, oh, by the way, this is the truth about. No. Don't
bring the hammer. If you want to shift to radical transparency, introduce it gradually. Agree to it. Talk about it first. Have meetings.
You know what? And the thing is, and so now with this, right, exactly. And so with this polycule, Jay and Crow and myself, we're fairly honest with everything. There's certain things that we forget to tell each other because we're busy.
It's only enough time, only so much time in the day.
Right. And if we had 28 hours on
we'd still be over.
Yeah, we'd still be. Right.
Because those extra 4 hours we'd fill them up with other stuff we needed to do.
Yeah, probably so. I'd probably be editing. When it comes to certain things, like when I'm feeling a certain way, or when Crow's feeling a certain way, when Jay's feeling a certain way, we come together, and there are certain conversations like we all need to be involved. We're going to be involved with it. If it's just between Jay and Crow, if it's just between Jay and me, or Crow and myself, and we come to each other with certain things. And that's why I know, if we need to talk, it's a safe place for us to talk between all of us. That we know we can go to each one of us and use each other either as a sounding board or say, hey, look, this is bothering me. I'm having issues with this and I don't know why. It's okay to say you don't know why you're feeling a certain way. It is okay for that. You just have to be honest with your polycule. If radical honesty happens, which it should, do it. And just there may be fallout. It's going to happen.
Oh, go ahead.
I will say that do the hard things. We're telling you how hard it can be, how many layers there are. But if you've decided and you know in your heart of hearts that that's what you need to do to be a healthier you, to find someone that's more on
your level,
a life path that is
I like that.
Similar to yours, then do the hard things.
Because it's worth it.
It is worth it. And, if you're not completely happy, I can nearly guarantee that your partner isn't either.
Yeah, that's pretty much guaranteed.
And the thing about all of this is this is advice that we could give all of our monogamous listeners and family and friends
Anybody.
too. Absolutely. Don't stay in a relationship that is hurting you. Don't stay in a relationship that's drowning you. Don't stay in a relationship that's poisoning you. Yes, the breakup is hard.
Yep.
But is it worth it?
Yes.
But yes, you will get through it.
You will and can get through it.
And that's another point is for breakups, make sure you find your support.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You depend on them. Hopefully you have friends and family or whatever that really are going to be there for you to help you through it, because it's not easy.
No.
And you know what? We sometimes fumble through this and stumble, and we have to figure out the answers to all of the questions on our own, because, a lot of this isn't written down. No, a lot of times people don't talk about this kind of stuff. Talk to your local community and reach out and find people who have gone through the things. Yeah, just find your support system and utilize them.
To sum it up,
Breakups are hard.
Breakups are hard.
Duh.
Yeah. Breakups
No
are
shit.
hard.
No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter if you have 27 people
Why are you
or
looking at him like
two
that? Yeah.
or one. I mean, maybe you're breaking up with your old self.
Ooh.
That's really hard.
I did that last year.
Like,
Ironically,
sorry.
you will still split the friends.
Yeah.
Friend.
Sorry, old self. You're a bastard. I'm leaving you behind.
Yep.
Yeah, and the
You're
same.
a disgruntled, old, grumpy
And
asshole.
And in that scenario,
Goodbye.
you can literally have toxic friends that only like
Oh,
your
yeah.
toxic self.
Yeah, that is very true. If you have toxic friends in your life that only like the asshole part of yourself,
Yep.
guess what? You surround yourself with people that bring positivity.
Only
in your life.
celebrate when you key cars and do dumb shit.
Breakups are hard, but don't be afraid of the breakup itself.
No.
Weigh the pros and the cons. Do the thing, think it through. Communicate and talk things over. A lot of times you can avoid a breakup if the other person sees where you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A lot of times you don't have to go through this if everybody's on board and everybody's going to be practicing healthy habits with one another. Be respectful of people who are going through a breakup.
Yeah. If you're monogamous, be respectful of the breakup.
Don't minimize their pain and suffering because, a lot of people, they would talk to Crow and sympathize with him about how he was going through his divorce. And they, even still, it'll get brought up. And no one recognizes that Zan and I also went through a divorce.
Right. And you and Zan had to go through a divorce with all of the pain and none of the autonomy, none of the divorce was happening to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you
we couldn't be in the courtroom.
Right.
We couldn't be, a lot of different things. There were just, and you think that those things are minuscule, but really they end up being kind of a significant thing because as you're getting a divorce or as you're breaking up, it comes along with certain milestones or things that you can attend or this physical act that makes it real and final. And we didn't get those things.
No. And at the same time, I had to go into court and testify against my ex.
But we do have some very amazing family and friends who have supported us. And they even have reached out to us and been like, hey,
check on us, make sure
I know
we're
this
okay.
is happening to you too. Are you okay? And they are like 1 in a million.
And
so,
we thank you for
thank
that.
you guys.
And also keep in mind, as you're practicing respectful habits around people who are broken up, they will probably mourn longer than you think they should.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get over pain when it's someone else's.
Right.
It's so easy to look at it and be like, well, yeah, but you're moving on and everything is good now, right? You're like, no, I still miss this, and that. And it's gone now.
Yeah.
And I got all this other good stuff because of this decision that I made, or all of these bad things went away, but you still lost. And you still lost out on this or that, or there's this memory that used to be so much joy and now it just hurts. And for months you'll come across old pictures and things and do.
Yeah, we did that today.
Yeah. And it can really, really suck, and it can set people back. So when you think, a lot of times your friend will be going through a breakup, and you'll think they're fine, and then they break down suddenly, and you're like, you just can't. Oh, you were over this. You were past this already.
Come on, it's been a month.
Yeah. Be patient with the person going through it, because it might take them a long, long time to get over it. Even if the relationship was only for a few months, people can fall in love. They can fall in love deep and hard and fully and completely, and the other person said nope and yoinked out of their life, and it can be devastating.
Yeah, and so you don't know what happened behind the scenes. You don't know what that person is going through. Hopefully you're the person that they can talk to about it and explain to you how they feel and why they feel so deeply and why they're hurting so bad.
There may be little details that happen during the day that completely set the person back.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I'll be open. Today was super emotionally rough for me. I've been working on a lot of personal growth and working on a book about healing from narcissistic abuse. And I started working on the first step of the book. And I was just literally sitting there at the table crying, like working over this stuff and dealing with being radically transparent with a friend as well. And then I felt myself I was crying and I didn't know what to do. I went out to the workshop and I tackled a thing on our to-do list that's been there since we moved in. And I actually made our workshop like walkable. We can walk around in it. Like
she found it.
She found the floor.
Right.
Things have a general location now. So that was great and was a great accomplishment. And then when we were finished, we were getting ready to leave and shut off the lights. There was a box on the ground that we decided to dig through. And it had a bunch of pictures of us in a relationship, our prior relationship, kissing and cuddling and different things. Not anything sexual, just,
But happy pictures.
Yeah, they were happy pictures.
And they are
happy
anymore.
moments.
Right.
And it was hard. So, and little mementos, like that were created in those moments. And it was hard. And like we said, it's things like that you don't know your friends or people who are going through the breakups are going through. And so if somebody came over and, was like, God, Jay's like never happy, Jay's, whatever, she's sad again, or, it's not that I'm like physically sad, but maybe I'll have a moment where I'll cry or tear up. I was just tearing up just now. But, you have to be, or it helps if you are understanding of those moments, because things are still going to hurt. Yeah. And things are still going to come up, especially if you've spent any amount of time with the person that you broke up with. You're going to have memories, you're going to have anniversaries, you're going to have, maybe you have shared children, shared spouses, shared lots of things. So, yeah.
So, breakups are hard. Respect boundaries. Yeah. Respect people's right to cry for longer than you think they should. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to go forward with a breakup.
Yeah.
That fear will keep you in a bad relationship for way too long.
Everything you want lies on the other side of fear.
It's one of those things where you think, okay, this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard on the kids. It's going to be hard on me. It's going to be hard on them. It's going to be hard on this person, that. And I don't want to split these friends. Any of those things. Divorce is expensive.
It is.
But all of that comes down to that fear could be just examine yourself. Be radically transparent with yourself. And if it looks like this is something you need to do, just do it. Here's the next point is sometimes you're going to be on the other side of this. We've been talking a lot about people, go ahead and do the breakup, break up with this person, break up with this toxic person. Sometimes you are the toxic person.
Yep.
And you will be broken up with.
Yep.
Yes.
And somebody will leave or somebody will push you out. And it's one of those things where you need to be radically transparent with yourself. You need to be honest with yourself. And it's one of those things that arguments and fights, not all of them drop out of the sky. There are things that people do, and sometimes they're not communicating with you or whatever, and they'll blow up later or whatever the reason is. Everybody's happy until person A completely blows up because this system has not been practicing radical transparency. It's a process. Be patient with yourself. Be patient. Yeah, like everybody is a work in progress. But understand that sometimes you piss people off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told our youngest daughter when we had what we lovingly refer to as a come to Jesus meeting, I told her, she went on and on and on about how people suck and they're assholes and whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It totally is. Like, and you realize that sometimes you're the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew her mind. She was like,
yeah.
Oh.
You got to be honest with yourself enough to know that you're not always the good guy in the situation.
No.
But you also need to know that if you are the person being broken up with, that you're strong enough to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make it through, and it will be okay. And if that person didn't see your worth and they didn't feel like that you were benefiting their life path, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It means that they didn't see your worth, or It means that they decided to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And your love and the way you loved them didn't resonate with them as much as they wanted it to, or as much as they needed, or in the way that they needed. And that's okay, because that means that there's somebody